Hey everybody, welcome to Fishy Film Fridays. We're back with another episode. Today we're watching The Last Boy Scout. This is a high-octane action flick from 1991. It stars Bruce Willis along with Damon Wayans. This is sort of a buddy cop conspiracy flick. Surrounds the beautiful game of football is sort of the backdrop. I felt is an epic, violent, explosive movie. I picked it this week. And as always, we're joined by Jay Red.
Hey, how you doing?
And Danny Ocean, down to Ocean.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, so that was the film.
Eagle Scout tapping in for the episode called The Last Boy Scout.
That is important. We get some Boy Scout, an actual view of a Boy Scout.
Representation.
Yeah, the word is representation. I feel like Jay Red was a Boy Scout.
I was in Cub Scouts for 3 weeks, sold no popcorn, but I was basically the mercenary version of Boy Scouts.
Hopefully we all have some popcorn ready for us when watching this movie and podcast, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very podcast. Oh, fuck. It's a very popcorn movie. It's a very popcorn.
It is a popcorn movie in a positive way, I'd say, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Should we just dive into this thing, or do you guys have some initial impressions, or had you guys seen this movie before?
I had never seen this movie before.
I've never seen it in entirety from start to finish, so I was very happy to get this.
Wow. Nice. And what do you guys have any history with like Bruce Willis before this? Like, what were your thoughts on Bruce Willis?
Love Bruce.
Go ahead, Jay.
Moonlight, great series, as well as all the Die Hard movies are incredible, and his relationship with Demi Moore is pretty nice. And a shout out. I think we need to give Bruce a little shout out here because he has dementia now.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was going to say that. That was going to be my thing to announce.
Given this great 90s and 80s icon a little bit of a chance here on Fishy Film Fridays before it's too late. Shout out to you, Bruce, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, raise your popcorn bucket, and maybe if Bruce is listening, he can think, oh, I remember that, or maybe we can jog that memory, just by us talking about it. And so that's really, really good for Bruce.
Good for Bruce.
My Bruce thoughts are that I'm mostly familiar with him in his older iterations, and he was kind of hot as a young guy.
Oh, definitely. I mean, do you think this movie he would constituted that, or is this older Bruce at this point?
No, this is younger. I was actually
losing my wife to Bruce.
We say Bruce, and my brain goes Bruce Springsteen. I gotta snap. Anyway, let's get into the film. So I actually think my favorite part of the movie is the first 30 minutes. There's so much happening.
So much.
And opening sequence is bonkers.
Opening sequence is incredible. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, we have to have this film. We have to talk about it. But let's start with the opening credits, because there's these big fonts on the screen. Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans. They throw it at the screen. There's explosions. See the title, Last Boy Scout, and then it cuts to a Monday Night Football theme, but it's Friday night. And it's this guy breaking into Monday, doing the Monday night theme song, but it was Friday night. That song is really good.
The song was really good. I'm actually with you on that. Yeah. I love all football music, actually.
Yeah.
I like the little horn sequence that CBS does. I like both of the shitty Monday Night Football song and the Sunday Night Football song.
Yes.
I love that shit. I eat it up.
Well, yeah, and
they nailed the genre. They nailed the genre with this film.
It was incredible. That song was incredible. Yeah. It's Friday night's a great time for football. And it's hell yeah. And I was they should play games on Friday night. Why are we missing out?
Whoa. We don't need to do that quite yet.
I
Thursday night's already annoying yet, because then we have to get another streaming thing.
That's true. It'll probably be on a Quibi or something.
Or Paramount, Phoebe.
But and it's also during that Friday night football theme, they're throwing in other opening credits within that, which I thought was an interesting. They sort of are
intersplicing. It's very of its era.
Yeah, it was sick.
This is a Tony Scott film, which R.I.P. Tony Scott. He jumped off a bridge in Los Angeles.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Tony
that.
Scott's brother. Tony Scott also was the one who did Top Gun. So you get a little bit of that I don't know, Americana, amped up like good popcorn flick vibes, and it's right off the bat. This movie knows what it is.
Did he do this before or after Die Hard? This must have been after.
This was in between Die Hards, because this felt very much like this could just been a Die Hard movie.
Yeah, oh, for sure. But it's still unique in its own way. Like there's things that set it differently. Anyway, so after that great opening banger, cuts to a football scene and it's pouring, and they show the crowd, and there's way too many umbrellas. Like there's so many umbrellas in the crowd.
I kind of liked those shots of the rainy football. It's like, damn, I wish I was watching some rainy football right now. I liked that stuff.
It was a high-scoring game too. It was like, how are they scoring?
You know why? It was at Municipal Stadium for the Cleveland team.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. It was the Cleveland team.
Yep.
And at one point, they're like, "Welcome to Cleveland, and it's a great night for Cleveland football."
Jared's probably like, "Yes."
I was what happens next really hurt.
Well, it's great because
when Lynn Swann pops onto the screen.
Well, hold on. There's some good cameos, right? Vern Lundquist, legend. Dick Butkus, legend. Those two are great. And then they cut to fuckhead Lynn Swann.
Let's go, Lynn Swann. Let's go, Steelers.
I mean, he did terrible. Like, no camera presence.
Shut the fuck up. Watch your mouth.
It was funny because Lynn Swann asks him, Lynn Swann was fine. But he asks him, he's like, is this the downfall of professional football? And it's like, no broadcast would ever say that, showing the NFL. Like, they are only positive, right? But pretty funny that they asked him that.
That's what's wrong. We don't have honest news anymore.
It is a really interesting way to create an alternate universe where football is falling apart. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, and I was starting to think this is 91, so this is late 80s, early 90s. Pretty sure football was still super popular and growing every year. So I don't think it was accurate at all for the time by any means. Right.
Well, it was all based on the sports gambling aspect, which the MLB was having a crisis in the 90s with Pete Rose.
Right, R.I.P.
Yeah.
But they also talk a lot about free agency is ruining the game, which is funny.
Yeah, that was a weird. Yeah.
Were they wrong?
They didn't have free agency before, so players didn't make the money they deserved, I guess, and somehow that ruins the game because people are trying to be compensated. I don't know.
It does sound a lot like the critiques people make about college football nowadays. The transfer portal. NIL.
It's true. This is where we meet Marcone, right? Mr. Marcone, who is the owner of the Los Angeles Stallions, I believe. Real Southern guy.
I thought he was the commissioner.
No, he's the owner of the team.
Yeah.
Nope, didn't pay attention. Didn't actively listen. Anyway, it's halftime. The players are walking in. There's sort of a brawl as they get into halftime. And there's a lot of this talk about this guy, Billy Cole. And they're in the locker room, and the coach is like, you got to get your shit together. You got to get it. And they're like, Billy, you got to call on line 3. And it's like a mobster. And he's like, you got to fucking score. You're not going to live again. Which is kind of funny because from what I understand, that's not how bet fixing really works.
Usually it's the opposite, right?
It's the opposite because you can't really control, I need to score. You're still trying to score no matter what. Why would you bet that he can score? You'd bet that he can't score and then he could control that, easier.
They note that Billy Cole was having the game of his career or game of his life. Before he does his crazy thing here in a moment.
Right, and it's he needs to score another touchdown? He's having the game of his life?
Yeah, why are you intervening? He could have maybe scored it already.
And so that he's stressed. Billy's stressed. He starts doing pills? What is he doing?
PCP, angel dust.
Is he actually?
They mentioned, he was high up on PCP.
If you were in that locker room, you would have easily been hall monitor and called out on the coach to him.
Locker rooms are no place for drugs.
Coach, Billy's doing it. It's bro, let him do his own thing. Anyway, they get back on the field, and there's a pass to Billy Cole, and he makes a great catch. It was a well-acted catch on the
great throw in the rain. Give them that.
Yeah, I mean, the offense is running on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And Billy Cole gets to open a space. He's breaking 2 tackles, and it's oh shit, he's really going. Suddenly, he reaches to his waistband and pulls out a Glock, and he shoots one guy right in the middle of his face mask. He's dead. Shoots another guy like in the knee. He goes down. Another guy in like his hip, and gets in the end zone. And everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
He scores a touchdown.
He scores a fucking touchdown, which is sick. And everyone rushes the field. Like fans are even like sort of on the field, like all the sideline. They're just sort of surrounding him. There's police, and he gets down on his knee.
Back when America would actually rush a mass shooter.
Right. They weren't scared.
Cowards.
And he pulls the gun up to his head. He goes, "Ain't life a bitch?" Boom. And he blows his brains out.
What a tagline.
I mean, just an incredible start to this film. What were you guys thinking when you saw this?
It's a better opening to a film than fucking Saving Private Ryan, I'll tell you that much.
The adrenaline levels are pumped. I kind of had some fantasies about this later on because I'm like, wow,
oh, yeah?
This would be one way for Cleveland to get out
Tell
of
us more about these fantasies, Jared.
This could be how they get out of the Deshaun contract.
Oh.
The bookie needs to call someone.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so he shoots himself? Deshaun
I don't know.
shoots himself?
Somebody.
Interesting.
What I thought was interesting from this, was I did not to fast forward too much, but like, what does the team do the week after this happens? Like,
oh, no. I mean, I was thinking, like, you want to know what's bad for, like, this is the downfall of football. Like, they almost canceled the month of football after DeMar Hamlin died.
Oh,
like,
that too.
If somebody shot himself, if a player shot himself on the field,
And
they would
shot multiple other people.
They'd cancel the season.
Yeah.
I don't know what the protocol would be. Like, we have a COVID protocol.
Yeah, I wonder if the NFL put something in place after this movie to be like, oh, this could happen. I mean, CTE, this shit could happen.
Oh, if Antonio Brown did this, I would have never been shocked.
Yeah,
Where did he keep that? How are you playing a football game with a gun in your pants?
It was a small
shit is insane to me.
It was a small gun.
I guess if he had like the quarterback hand warmer thing, he could have done it, but he pulled it from his like waistband.
Yeah, which is just silly. Just silly. I really liked the images though that were on the screen. I was like mouth agape. I was like, damn. It was like nice. I liked the vibes. I was like,
Yeah, those.
It was nice to be watching like a beautifully shot like rainy football game on one of the first fall evenings.
Yeah,
of the year.
I was like,
oh, this is so cozy.
I had a couple other notes on this. We know we're soft because in today's NFL, that game would have been delayed with that amount of rain.
I mean, yeah, look at the fucking last Monday,
I was thinking that
2 Sundays ago.
Other comment is not a surprise that an LA team brought violence to the Midwest.
Oh my God, this fucking guy.
Billy Cole has something in common with Colin Kaepernick. They both took a knee before killing their.
For killing their career?
Yeah, before they killed their careers.
That's good. That's a good bit.
I thought you were going to say they're both black.
Yeah.
Well, that's observed as well.
Oh, that's good. Well, the owner sort of like looks away in disgust, and that's like how the scene ends, which is funny. And then it hard cuts to we meet the main character. We meet Joe Hallenbeck, who is sleeping in his car. He's had a late night, and these 3 kids walk up to him, and one of the kids goes, "This dude is really trashed." I'm like, this is very 90s. These are 90s kids, you know. They don't play by rules. And they throw a dead squirrel on him.
I thought that was funny.
First I thought it was a live squirrel, and then I was like, oh, they threw a dead one at him.
I like how it was readily available as well.
Yeah, they found that pretty quickly. And then next they try to take his watch, and that's when Joe wakes up and like puts a gun up to the kid's head. Kids run away screaming. I like this as an introduction to the character. I think you learn a lot within these first couple moments that, you know, this guy's he's not a clean detective, you know. He got a little gruff around the edges.
He's skilled. He's skilled. The quick response. I was like, damn, how can you do
Bruce
that?
Willis, man. This is just Bruce Willis typecast from like 85 to 94.
Yeah. Hold on. Maddie, do you need to... Oh, no, you got it. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I was trying to close the door.
Domestic violence check.
No.
Drink to that.
All right. Is this when it cuts to... Is he in the car when he gets the call from... No, he goes to his office. He goes to his little office.
He goes to his office and he's like, he gets the call and the guy's like, what do you got going on today? And he's like, I got these cigarettes.
I was like, this is Daniel. This is very Daniel.
Yeah, I was loving that part.
He's like, you got plans? I'm thinking of smoking some cigarettes. But his buddy Mike calls him, says he's got a job for him. And he's like, oh, Joe, I thought you were in Las Vegas, which is funny that he says that because we figure out later what he's been up to. And he also says a funny thing. He essentially tells Joe, oh, there's this job. You got to protect this stripper. And then he's talking about who later is revealed to be Halle Berry. This is another Halle Berry joint that we're reviewing.
Hot.
We'll get to her. Oh,
and
Halle Berry comments.
And Mike says, oh, she rates a 3 on my finger scale, which means he'd cut 3 fingers. Which means he'd cut 3 of his fingers off to fuck her. That's a funny line.
It's a really funny line. Poll question for all of us. How many fingers were you cut off to have sex with Halle Berry?
Probably 1.
I think 3 is a good number. 10. If I get to choose between both hands?
10 is funny.
I'd go probably 2. I'd probably lose both pinkies at most, but I would never go 3. I'd be tempted by 1. 3, you're like permanently disfiguring yourself.
Yeah.
Can I do halves? I've seen a lot of people with half fingers with total fingers.
No, it's gotta be fullies.
Ooh, okay. 3, I'm still with 3. But yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. He says that, and then Joe responds, you should do the nose scale. Cut that thing off. You know, he's got an ugly nose or something.
That was great back and forth.
And it's again, it's like we're learning more about Joe. Like he is nothing but quick zingers. And some of them hit better than others, but like baseline, they're pretty good bits.
Dialogue and the back and forth are amazing. It's like Tarantino level zingers in this film.
There are some where it's like, okay, like there's a point probably halfway through the movie, you're like, oh my God, like they won't stop.
It's like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
Whoops.
From that scene, he agrees to do the job, essentially. They're going to pay him $500. And then we cut to Jimmy, who plays for the LA Stallions. He's played by Damon Wayans. And we learned he's, a pill-popping former player for the Stallions, was the quarterback for a season. Before he was kicked off the team, we learned later for gambling and also like a little bit of drug abuse. But this is a weird party. He's like at the LA Stallions like player party.
And it saves that girl from being like SA'd.
Mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the lineman. His name's Ray. And he's holding a woman underwater in like the jacuzzi because he wants a blowjob.
What?
And so Ray is like, this is the league party. You got kicked out, remember? And then Ray throws a football like full speed in his face. A little bit of foreshadowing there. And then he's like, best arm in the National League. Remember that, you fat son of a bitch. Which is a funny line. And that was that. But we learned that Jimmy has morals there,
Yes.
What do you guys think of Damon Wayans? What are your thoughts on him?
I like this. I think this was great exposure for him. I really, it does make me sad that his career never took off in further directions beyond like his family's comedy writing and all that.
Well, he did like White Chicks, right? Like
yeah, but like he would have been really good in more of like these mainstream high budget films.
He's no like
Wesley Snipes
or like not Chris Rock.
Chris Tucker.
Yikes, Chris Tucker. Oops.
Oh.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah, I think he was fine.
I thought he did the role very well.
Yeah, no complaints.
But like compared to Bruce, like Bruce is carrying this film, and like Damon
Well, I think that was
It's
what it
just
was designed for too. I think this was to build off the hype of Bruce Willis that like America was in love with, and give someone who's not Danny Glover or Carl Weathers as like the sidekick.
yeah.
This is also pre OJ and also pre Rodney King, so like America had an appetite for like a biracial buddy cop comedy.
True.
No,
Okay.
very true.
I mean, I think that appetite stayed
Not
until
biracial, interracial. It would not be a.
Yeah. Okay. Weird.
No. Things change after 92 to 94.
All right, we're gonna have to
it goes from
dive
being
deep.
it goes from being dog to canine American.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to the true listeners. You gotta watch the Cat and Hat review for that.
All right. So, and then it cuts to Joe. He's coming home. He's going to his house, and his wife says the same thing when she opens the door. Oh, I thought you were in Las Vegas. And so you already know.
That's kind of hot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Of course, you guys have something to say.
She's actually like a forefinger for me.
I didn't know the actress actually. I was and I didn't look it up, so I have no idea who she is. But I assume she was in like action movies and stuff. But anyway, she shows Joe a picture of Satan Claus, this drawing from his daughter, who's obviously got an emotional problem. They're talking about how his daughter wears too much makeup. Like Joe's worried she's a floozy pretty much with all these boys. So you can tell that there's some parenting dispute almost.
Yes.
Before you saw the daughter, were you expecting them to have like this daughter be dressed up like way more like?
I bet you wanted that, you freak.
No, I didn't want that. I'm just saying, like, when they say my daughter's a floozy, I was like, oh gosh, this is gonna be like a rebellious teenage daughter, like.
Right, and she just was a normal kid. So it kind
I
of
think that's kind of the point.
Yeah, it's like shows that Joe is like maybe overprotective.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But Satan
Go
Claus
on.
is concerning a little
When he
bit.
gets home.
Right, and
Yeah,
so he's immediately he goes to the bathroom. He's like, why is there steam in the bathroom? Why is the toilet seat up? He's like, there's a man in the closet. Like, already knows. Threatens to shoot the door, and the wife's like, really? You really want me to do this? Like, fine. You just want me to open the door, like trying to get out of it. And he's like, fine, don't open it. He's like, I'll just shoot it. And then it's revealed that Mike is in there, which is funny because we just met him. And
he's like a fat guy.
He's a fat guy.
Who would cut off his fingers and nose to fuck Halle Berry, but
right. And like Bruce Willis is like Bruce Willis. Why are you even like, I know she's lonely, but come on now.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he ends up
Vegas. That's the worst part. It wasn't like a cross-country trip.
Right. It wasn't that far. And then he ends up shooting the wedding photo, which I thought was interesting of them too.
Oh, yeah, I didn't really catch that it was the wedding photo.
And so then Mike is walking out with him, and then I'm like, immediately like, why is he walking out the house with him? But it's fine.
He has a quote. Was it outside the house or inside? Where like his buddy's like saying it was on accident. I didn't mean it. He's like, oh yeah, I guess you're just walking around and accidentally slipped and your dick
Oh yeah,
fell in
that
my
was
water.
funny.
That's pretty good.
Oh, that's like a best singer.
Well, it's interesting because like I've heard people say that before, and I wonder if it's all from this movie.
I wonder that too. Yeah,
I
there's
think
a
it
lot
is.
of catchphrases. I'm wondering how much came from.
Yeah, there was another one that I noticed. I wonder. I can't remember it now though. Yeah.
And so he tells Mike, he's like, head or gut, Mike. And Mike's like, gut, and he hits him right in the tummy. And he's still being
I kind of
friendly.
like that. That's a good way to handle things.
Yeah, maybe you should say that to people. If you get angry.
Yeah,
at
you
that.
think so?
That'd be funny.
Puerto Rico would have been a lot better if you chose options.
Yeah.
If I said head or gut.
I thought he was talking about, when he first said it, I actually thought he was talking about like what did he do to his wife?
And gutting is like full penetration.
Yeah, like
Head
in
is
them
just-
guts.
That's funny.
And then I was like, and then when he punched him, like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
Well,
and then he's like,
he's-
what are you gonna say?
he's telling him about the Halle Berry, like the key notes on this. I love it that he hands him a brochure on Corey the stripper.
Oh yeah.
Like, was this how strippers advertised in 1991? Was like,
Hey, I didn't even think about that. That's
Like,
weird.
Well, when I've been to Vegas, they hand you the strippers like that are also hookers will hand you like a baseball playing card, so it does feel plausible.
Does it have their stats?
Yeah, actually,
That's crazy.
not like their like number of blowies given,
So that's what
but,
I
like height, weight.
That's what I meant. Stats. That's more
Height, weight, race.
That's more attributes. Yeah, that's like a Pokemon
you're
card.
right.
So it's more
I
like a
just like the
Pokemon
idea of like
card.
going to like the UPS store and getting these printed out.
Yeah, that is fun. You do have to go to a print
Don't
shop.
have like a printer.
Yeah.
Goes.
Anyway, Mike is like, okay, fine. You're still going to do the job. He's like, yep, $500, $500. Mike goes to start his car, and it just explodes. And he's dead now. So
And at that moment, I was like, "Oh, this movie is not what I thought it was going to be."
yeah, I was sort of like, what the fuck is going on? And Bruce is like, somebody wired the car. It's like, okay. And they ask like, who did this? He's like, Mr. Rogers. Like he has no clue who's done it. But him and the wife sort of doesn't care. The wife is like, are you okay, Joe? Like doesn't really care about Mike.
Yeah,
She's a bad person. She lost 2 men in one day.
Yeah, and then she's just like, I was lonely. When they talk, like she's just talking about her cheating scandal still, even though somebody just exploded in her front yard.
yeah.
And she's like, I was lonely. And Bruce was like, buy a dog.
Yes, that's a good line. I thought about Jared actually buying Bella for
I made that same comment.
Rebecca.
It's interesting technique.
If the toilet seat is up, I'm firing bullets in every closet in this house.
It turns out that Rebecca just like had too much wine the night before and had to throw up, but you're just shooting holes around your entire house. So this part actually, this is, if I may step in here, made me extremely angry because Bruce Willis walks into this house and has to be like, oh my God, there's fog on the mirror. Oh my God, there's the toilet seats up. My wife must be cheating on me. Never once does he realize, oh, my best friend's car is parked on the street in front of my wife's house.
No.
What the fuck?
Oh no, his. Wasn't it his car or something?
It's his car Bruce Willis's car got blown up. His buddy parked down the street at a neighbor's house. They mentioned that later.
Yeah, like he was going.
Why is Mike driving his? Why? What?
He was
a plot hole, and then they retroactively covered it up.
I don't understand that part either. I never.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
They said for some reason he drove Bruce's car. Like they said it right before he got into it. I'm asking. Hold on.
You're asking who?
Chat.
Google. Gemini.
All right. Can we get forward to the?
Well, they go to the the strip club. And that's where we meet Corey, played by Halle Berry. And Jimmy is there as amazing work.
Yeah, by Halle Berry. Best.
And Jimmy,
she's an actress.
And Jimmy is there with her, like they're together. But he sort of reveals there that he like keeps cheating on her, like in this conversation he's having with some guy, which is kind of interesting. But the strip club is like all the dancing tables have fences up, cages. They're in cages.
Yeah, it's like a go-go dancing.
It seems terrible. I don't know.
Go-go dancing happens in cages.
I don't know how you put the money through the hole or.
I don't know, Jared. You're kind of the expert on these sorts of establishments of the three of us.
I've never been to a cage one.
Yeah, and so Corey is talking. Corey meets Joe at this point and is like, "Oh, are you going to protect me?" And he's like, "Yes." I'm pretty sure that's all they really discuss. And then they're like, Joe's like, "This music, I don't like funky music." And then she's like, "Play that funky music, white boy." It's very, very 90s coded here.
Another Ohio reference. White Cherry is an Ohio band from Cleveland.
Oh my gosh, shut the fuck up.
And Halle Berry's from Cleveland too.
Shut
A lot
the fuck
of
up.
positive things Cleveland brought to this movie.
And then Halle Berry kisses Jimmy and then goes to dance in like her cowboy outfit. Did you guys hear the song she was dancing to?
No, but I like the cowboy outfit.
The
I did too.
song was terrible. Like it was the corniest song ever. I'll have to find
The
it.
open chest outfit.
My Cat in the Hat grew during the.
I did not. I was like, I don't know. It wasn't doing anything. So
That didn't get you worth 3 fingers cutting off.
no, I don't think Halle Berry really.
I honestly don't think she looked that great in this movie, and I was also like assessing her face and wondering, like, she's clearly had work done because her face
Recently
was very
or since-
different.
Yeah, she looked different here than she did in Flintstones.
Yes,
I
100%.
think there's a lot of different makeup and stuff too.
I think it was structural.
Okay.
Anyway, Corey. Oh wait, what happens here actually? Oh, so this is when Jimmy reveals that he'd been banned from the league for gambling charges and is like his drug abuse sort of. And Jimmy and Joe are talking for the first time. They don't really get along in this first meeting. Joe says, "At least I didn't ship my talent away on coke." There's some drama there.
As he lights his cigarette with a match, I thought was badass.
Oh, you like that? Joe is outside of the strip club
you
now.
like that?
Well, there's two quick things on that conversation I want to hit up. Bruce Willis threw the ice at Corey, not Corey, the quarterback,
Jimmy.
which really threw me back to when we threw ice at you.
Oh yeah, at that wedding.
It's
Which
the ultimate
time?
sign of disrespect.
It kind of is.
And
So-
you took it just like Jimmy.
No, I've removed myself from the situation, which was smart.
Then when Bruce left the bar, I thought it was really wild, and I can't believe people do this because I saw this even last week at like a happy hour. People take glasses out of the bar. I've never done that in my life.
Yeah, I've never done it, but I do see people do it. I don't really think it's a big deal.
I just
Yeah.
find it wild.
Most of the glasses that bars are stocking are like
Right.
promotional materials from
Yes,
distributors.
I get that. I've never thought about it.
Yeah, it was sort of
It
interesting.
does feel like a hassle to have to carry that around.
Well, he then throws that glass at this big billboard for this guy named Baynard, who is like, this is his election billboard. He's a senator. And he says something like, "I didn't even vote for you, you fuck." And you're like, okay, you're first introduced to sort of this Baynard character. And Joe has a sort of, he has some animosity towards him for sure. Then suddenly he gets hit in the back of the head with a baseball bat, and like 3 guys are crowding over him. And they're like, "Oh, this is the guy. Like, this was the guy. He was with Corey." Like, they were obviously trying to find him. And then one of the guys takes him out back and is like gonna kill him. And he talks to this guy out of it by making like our wife is fat jokes. Like he keeps saying like,
so stupid.
which these jokes were bad. These were bad jokes that you'd heard before, and they were embarrassing.
And it's just not believable at all.
Yeah, and the guy's like, "Hoo, hoo, hoo," like big dumb henchman, and he punches him. He had a hunch anyway, and then he killed him. So that was kind of interesting. Meanwhile, Halle Berry is leaving with Jimmy. This was an interesting thing. They left in like separate cars. Halle Berry takes one car, and Jimmy follows behind.
A lot of weird shenanigans with cars
Yes.
in this film. Yeah.
For
it's almost
sure.
like Crash, actually, in that way.
Yeah, Halle Berry's car gets a little banged up. Like somebody runs into her bumper, and she pulls over, and it's like past a stoplight, so Jimmy can't really get to him. And Halle Berry immediately comes out and is like, "Why the fuck did you hit me?" And then she gets lit up like a Christmas tree.
Very sad.
Very sad. Like really, not a lot of airtime for the Berry. I know you
I
guys
was very
must,
disappointed when it happened. I was like, she's going to come back to life. She's going to come back to life.
especially
They
because she,
buried the berry. It was quite upsetting.
especially because she
The
kind
gore special effects were terrible, by the way.
yeah. There's like the blood on her and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, are you serious right now?
She got like top billing, like pretty close in this film,
Yeah.
and like had like under 20 minutes of screen time, like not even. It's kind of strange. There was one other thing I wanted to say before she dies. Corey had promised Jimmy that she was going to get his old job back as a birthday present. She said that right. which is sort of integral because it's sort of why Corey is being chased after and killed here. Is for Jimmy. So Corey really liked Jimmy to do
Despite
this.
the cheating.
Yeah, but it's survival, man.
Huge shootout, and the cops arrive. And it cuts to the police station. Oh, Joe saves the day. Also, he runs up, saves the day. Bah!
Jimmy also saved the day. He committed vehicular homicide.
Oh yeah, he rammed into that guy.
Badass.
Yeah, pretty cool way to do it.
Oh, that actually was cool. I like that.
It cuts to the police headquarters, and there's a Sopranos actor. Did you guys see who it was?
No.
Oh, Ralph.
The lieutenant, the police lieutenant, is played by a Sopranos actor. His name's Joe Santos, and he's in Lupertazzi's. He's in the Brooklyn gang. He's the consigliere of Carmine.
Wow, I did not notice.
Yeah, pretty sick. And this is when they say that Joe, at one point, saved the president's life. He he throws that in there. So you're
Secret Service.
So you're learning more about Joe here. It's what? He's a legend. He's a hero, an American hero.
Yeah, the cops love him, but they hate him.
And Joe and Jimmy start talking about the job because it's sort of over with, right? Corey's dead. Joe seems sort of reluctant to even care. And he starts thinking about why Mike wanted him to do this job. And maybe Mike wanted to set Joe up with this, knowing he'd die. So then Mike would run off with the wife. That was a theory he said at this point. Do you think that Mike actually did that?
No.
Yeah. Because if Mike was that suspicious of Joe getting killed, he would have never hopped in that car like he did.
Yeah, 100%. I think they didn't know what they were wrapped up in.
I agree. I sort of agree. But Mike had this job before Joe, so he knew how difficult it was, right? He knew that she was being stalked.
Right.
By some dangerous characters.
Maybe that's why the fat fuck took the hot guy to take care of it.
Facts.
Oh.
And they also say something.
I heard something else.
That's what I call you two.
All
right.
Oh my gosh.
It's also revealed here that Baynard, who is the senator, keeps getting inappropriate phone calls from Joe, which is funny. Really inappropriate, prank calls, essentially.
I don't think it's prank calls.
What do you think he's saying to him on the phone?
I think it's harassment more so.
Yeah, it's fuck you, you fat fuck, you fucking fuck.
Well,
have you guys ever done this or been on the receiving end of calls like this?
Yeah, I've done that. What are you talking about?
Wait, calls people
calling, harassing someone on the phone.
Yeah, I've definitely done that.
Calls, not go kill yourself. I know what you did, man.
Yeah, Daniel's
I've done the latter. I've done the latter.
But they showed what the senator did, or they at least were starting to reference it.
Yes, they cut this point. They cut back to Baynard, and it's Joe walking in on him,
assaulting.
Being way too kinky.
Yeah.
Wait,
and punching him. Joe punched him in the face. You didn't catch this part?
I remember the scene, but I don't remember what he was doing exactly.
He had a girl chained up like this and whipping her, and she's screaming.
Oh, so it was not consensual kinky.
It does not seem like it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And he was standing outside.
And this is kind of a glimpse into why we might think of Bruce as the last Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm. He did the right thing.
He punches a man in power to protect the woman.
That's true.
And he still loves his wife. He says that.
And then, he does? That's really sweet.
Yeah.
It's at this point they cut to Corey's house now. Jimmy and Joe have sort of decided they're gonna at least check out the place, see if it's if they could find any clues, and it's been ransacked. People have been there looking for something. And Jimmy looks down at old pictures of him and Corey, gets emotional, and he's okay, maybe he's actually upset about this because before he didn't seem that upset. He sort of moved on, but now he's having an emotional moment. It's revealed that Corey used to date the Mr. Marcone, who was the owner.
Yeah, which is confusing.
Very strange. And that's when they find the big blackmail information. So Jimmy finds a tape.
It came out funny.
You've said so many things in this episode that have just sounded so weird.
You guys gotta just roll with me. They find it.
Big black male.
It's big information.
I'm about to throw up on the keyboard.
Facts.
John, are these opinions or what's the opposite of opinions?
No.
Back. All right. They get the blackmail evidence. And it's the information they find is a tape deck and then a phone bill, right? And Joe knows it's the
Senator's number.
It's the senator's number because he pranks calls them all the time, like Daniel. And they're like, oh, we got to listen to what's on this tape. So they put it in their car, and then Jimmy's like, well, this stuff isn't interesting, like in the beginning. So he hits fast forward, and it eats the tape, and Joe starts freaking out. He's like, fast forward eats the fucking tape. It's like the first time Joe really gets mad, like or animated.
Yeah, that part didn't land for me as a zoomer. I was like, this doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I was like, what technology is this? Like,
Is
can't
that
they just
if you fast forward, like that shit gets busted? I think it is.
No, I think it's like his specific
Oh, he's just got
car
like a
stereo.
car.
Yeah, his machine's broken.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, just restore from backup. Like, go into the iCloud and get it back. Like, it's not that hard. And it turns out that we learned that this is Jimmy's birthday present, right? It's like she was blackmailing Marcone to get Jimmy his quarterback job back, which is a real one. I mean, she's so real for trying to do this. Probably a weird way of going about it, but she just wanted him to get his job back and, find that spark Jimmy once had. But do you think this would have worked? Like, if she tried to blackmail him
No.
with this? You don't think it would have worked at all?
No.
Well, they tried to
kill it again.
Yeah, well, they tried to kill her, so they must have thought it was a little important.
Yeah, it's true.
So this is when they find C4 on Corey's car. Like, the bad guys were going to blow up her car too.
Yes.
Oh, because Jimmy's about to start the car. He's like, wait. There was C4 in there, and so they throw it into the trunk. And these, once again, a random group of henchmen sort of walk up on them. And what do they say here? They're like, I don't even remember, but Joe like throws the car keys down the hill.
Right. That was kind of sick.
Yeah, that was cool. He's like, you shouldn't have done that. And then they shoot the back of the trunk, and that's when the C4 explodes. Car blows up.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool sequence.
Yeah.
However, at this point, I was starting to get like, I don't really love conspiracy movies like this sometimes. I started to get a little bit confused about the plot details at this point, and that kind of continued throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, there are a lot of... It's hard to keep up, for sure. There's a lot of like moving parts and like things said in passing, and you're like, okay, I got to remember that, I guess. Yeah. This is probably my least favorite part of the movie.
It also, you kind of forget about the
whole part. The part where the car blows up?
Wait, what did you say, Dan? Jared?
You kind of forget, like, this whole movie started with like a football player shooting people on the field by this point.
Yeah, yes. I'm like, oh, I guess this isn't a football movie.
Yes.
This next part is my least favorite part. Is when they go back to Joe's house and like meet his daughter, Darian. Her name is Darian. And I'm like, why is her name Darian? Is she named after the Darien Gap? Like, did Joe watch the Bald and Bankrupt Darien Gap saga and like name his daughter after it? That's like what I was thinking.
Cool.
What do you guys think of the name Darian?
I don't even know what you're talking about. The Darien Gap.
I don't really have opinions on the name Darian, but
that's like the best Bald and Bankrupt video.
I did not think that this child, they could have like cast it as like age 9 or age, like, I think they said she was 13 or something, but she was The child definitely is autistic, like with the cat, like mouse. Or
the first thing out of her mouth was, I thought it was a beaver. Was it a cat?
I think it was a cat.
Yeah, that was weird. I was me like, autism.
Yeah, and I
Or
really
like Tourette's or something.
What inspired that whole like character sequence there? Like, you know, in some movies they give like a detective like a weird tick, like they give him like a pen that they click or like rubber bands they play with. Who said I'm going to write this daughter and like she uses a puppet, and it also plays a crucial like action point later on.
Yeah,
like a dirty mouth. And she's like,
she's very much like Joe in sort of the way she speaks, and is sort of a pisser, you know, like she takes the piss out of you.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like it. It seems like the mom until the end doesn't like help the father connect with her that well.
No, I think that both parents are not great parents.
I agree with that too, but like
they have a nice house though. They have a very nice house.
Yeah, that tells you what the housing market was in '91.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I hated the scene when they start like opening up to each other randomly after like knowing each other for like 8 hours.
And
Joe and Jimmy
people together.
Yeah, I was like, this is so
bond.
stupid.
Yeah, this is why I didn't like this scene, but there was a funny moment when Darian calls Joe an asshole, and then he gets a perfectly brand new ice cream tub and throws it out the door. Could you imagine something worse than that?
It's very like Breaking Bad Pizza on the Roof.
Yeah. It's like didn't even get a single scoop.
It's pretty funny. I kind of like that parenting move, actually.
It's definitely not bad for the kid to do that stuff. And then there's a photo of Joe with the president, and Jimmy looks at it, and this is when he says, "Yeah, I was a real Boy Scout." So he says Boy Scout. There's the first thing he says it.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and country, to obey the Scout laws. I forget the rest.
Why is God in the Boy Scout thing?
Because it's conservative propaganda.
Oh, right. And so this is when Jimmy reveals some things about himself, like he had a newborn child who died. Like, did you guys catch this?
Yeah, I remember, but it's like,
he was married before the newborn.
Well, that explains maybe why he went into drugs and fell hard on life.
Yeah. Oh, and he was injured. He had a tragedy in his life, an injury on top of it. And he was playing football when it happened.
Yeah, and now he's addicted to drugs. So he goes, he's like, "Hey, can I take a shower?" And while he's in the bathroom...
What happens? His wife gets hit by a car or something?
Jimmy's?
Yeah, that's why the baby
wife
dies.
Was pregnant, got hit by a car, the wife died, but they brought the baby out, and the baby lived for 17 minutes. Then
oh, yeah, okay, nice.
So sad. Could you imagine something worse?
And he said the baby lived long enough to have it to dream once.
It's a pretty horrible thing to happen to a man, right? I mean, it's
for sure. But could I imagine worse? Yes.
You could lose your 4 fingers when you want to talk to Halle Berry.
Not fuck Halle Berry afterwards.
Yeah. And he goes to the bathroom and he's doing drugs. He's doing painkillers, like Demerol.
I thought he was snorting coke, man.
No, because that's what Joe thinks for the start, but then he's like, "It's Demerol. My fucking leg hurts," or something. But he still has, opioid addiction is very real and affects millions of professional athletes every year.
I did get a lot of Reagan drug war sentiment from this movie, because they call out PCP earlier, which was a big drug of the 90s.
I don't think the guy was actually on PCP.
That's what they said.
I know, but that was the owner who said that, and he sort of can create fallacies.
Anyways, go on. We'll keep rolling.
Okay, cool.
Facts.
Movie's not about drugs.
As Jimmy's leaving, he signs his daughter's Damien brings out a sports card. He's like, "Sorry, I was being mean to you. Can you sign my card?" And she reveals that Jimmy is Joe's favorite player, or was. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
And he writes on the sports card to the daughter of the last Boy Scout. So there we go. We see Boy Scout there.
Ooh, title.
Yeah,
title
that's when
alert.
I'm like, "Oh my god, they said the thing." That was pretty cool. Do you think it's true that it
Keep
was
pushing.
it was Joe's
Yeah, I think it
favorite
is
play?
true. I think that's why he's so angry at him when he's like, "You shouldn't have done." If I saw Dwayne Haskins, I'd be like, "You motherfucker."
Dwayne
That's what I
Haskins
was
is
gonna
dead.
What did
Well,
you?
yeah, I know. Like,
Where are you
you know
seeing
what I
Dwayne
mean, though.
Haskins?
Like,
Oh, you'd say yeah, like
if
you
I
would.
were, if I saw Antonio Brown, I'd be like, "Do you know what you could have done?
Or Le'Veon
Do you know how
Bell?
many Super Bowls you
Nah.
could have won?"
Well, if you saw like Russell Wilson now, you'd be like, "You're my favorite quarterback." Like, would you say that?
No,
Not to his
Well,
face.
what about Big Ben after his like bathroom incident in his
Yeah.
early career?
Right out of the bathroom, like right after he'd done it. And
yeah, I'd be like,
you
"What have you done, you fuckred?"
Whoa.
You
Wow,
used to be
you
my
would have
favorite.
stopped it.
I would have stopped.
Would you have been Bruce Willis when he like punched the senator? Would you have punched Big Ben?
That would be funny to punch Big Ben, but I feel like I'd get fucked up.
Yeah, that guy's
Daniel walks up to Big Ben and he's like, "Head or gut?"
and does the double punch.
Yeah, it does.
The double punch.
All right, so this is when Damon Wayans gets approached by some other group of thugs later, and he's thrown from like the top of an overpass onto a car. Did you guys catch?
Stood up fine. This man
Stood up
is
fine.
really high at the moment, where he can take a
Yeah.
hell of a tackle.
So strange. And then at the same time, the police. They cut back to the police at one point. They're trying to think of like they don't trust Joe. They think Joe killed Matthew because of this whole wife cheating situation. This is when it's revealed that the car was parked next to the neighbor's house, like you said earlier.
I call bullshit, but yeah.
Yeah, they might have been like, I don't know. That is a strange part. And then it cuts back to Joe's house, and somebody's at the door. Knock, knock, knock. He opens it, and he gets tased with like a cattle prod.
Yeah.
Have you ever been cattle prodded?
I have been tased before.
We
Shout
had
out,
that
Jared.
taser. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not cattle prod. Just
John,
fire.
did you ever get tased when we had the taser? Or
No,
not?
I don't think so. I didn't like that. I didn't like. It's not fun.
That was fun. The taser was.
It was fun. I think you missed out on that, John.
So they've got Joe in this car now, and they're driving away. This weird, like European guy who reminds me of Die Hard a lot, like the main villain. He's driving it, or he's in the shotgun seat. And the cop that's coming to investigate because of this pulls them over, and he's like, "Is there a problem?" And the guy responds, "Oh, there is a problem. Apparently, there are too many bullets in this gun." Bang, bang, bang.
Wow, I totally don't remember any of what you're talking about right now. I don't remember the taser or this.
Do you remember this, Jared?
Too many bullets in the gun.
Yeah, he says like, "Oh, there is a problem, officer. There are too many bullets in this gun."
Oh,
bang,
yes.
bang, bang. And then he cleans off the fingerprints and puts Joe's fingerprints on it.
That happened so quick.
Yeah, it happens very, very quickly. And he throws it out the window. So now Joe is going to be blamed for killing a cop.
Yes.
So it's actually at this point they do a flashback of Joe taking a bullet for the president. This is when he saved the president's life. It's sort of a not Nixon. Remind me of the Reagan shooting. You know, just jumps in front of it.
John Hinckley.
This is not the Trump assassination attempt. I'll say that.
Yeah, those.
Which one?
What, the one with all the DEI Secret Service agents?
Yeah, the golf course one. The one on the par 4.
That would have been wild if they got a shot at him. If that's how Trump would have gone, is doing what he loves, playing golf. What a storybook ending.
That would have been great.
Teflon Don.
Would have been really great. Anyway, so this is when it cuts back to so Joe's at like this pool inside of the owner's house that we learn, I think.
Yes. The two henchmen are like beating him up / talking shit to him.
Yeah, and then so Joe punches one of the henchmen in the nose and just kills him instantly.
Which that was actually the thing that when we were talking about, maybe the tripping, falling with your dick into someone thing has an impact on the cultural consciousness. People when I was like in middle school, they were always like, "Oh, if you punch someone in the nose right, they die immediately." And I was like, when I saw that scene, I was like, "Oh, maybe that's where this came from."
That Chuck Norris did that in like Walker, Texas Ranger as well. There's like an episode where that happened because I've seen that before in other like 90s, 80s action movies.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that trope comes from this. It might be just true. This is a real thing.
Also,
I,
wild that the henchman just died there, and then like everyone's like, you can't touch the guy, like he's invincible, like we need him alive. Like,
yeah, that was weird. Oh, with what you were saying, Daniel, like kids in middle school, there's a cat.
nice.
Kids in middle school would like say you punch in the nose. In my middle school, they'd be like, if you pinch the top of your neck at just the right spot, you'll be paralyzed.
Which may also be true.
Yeah, that was the thing we talked about.
You should talk to more paralyzed people and ask how it happened.
Yeah, I heard they love to talk about it. This is when the owner, who's like swimming laps, he reveals that football is ruined. He like sort of reveals, what crime he's up to. He says football's ruined. Free agency is ruining the game. The ratings are down, so we have to bribe some senators in order to legalize gambling, which is funny because all of sports are very legalized gambling right now.
Yes, I thought it was. Tim, when you picked this movie, did you have that in mind?
No, I really was just like, oh, football.
Because I thought it was like very interesting to watch this movie. Maybe this is more for final thoughts, but I thought it was very interesting to watch this movie in the current day and age.
Yeah, knowing that it's just fully legalized, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah. And like wondering about the impacts it has.
I did have a factual issue with the pool scene, though. The owner has 2 Doberman Pinscher dogs. They hate water. Those dogs would never be calm near that pool.
You don't know what every dog knows and likes.
Okay, well, you're a cat guy. You don't even know what.
That's like saying everyone from Ohio eats dogs. Like
they could.
That is fucked up. You don't say that about canine Americans, please.
Yeah.
Well, Jared said he's making Italian food for the date night tomorrow. It's Italian food because they're eating Bella Ciao.
Yeah, they do the trade-off in the woods. They frame Joe by like taking a picture of him. Like,
yeah, see, this part was also confusing to me. I was so lost in the details at this point.
Yeah, I was a little confused too. Like, but yeah, I was confused for sure. Essentially, like, yeah, Joe's getting framed. There's a bomb in the briefcase that Joe's handing over to the senator's personal bodyguard, and it's going to explode and kill the senator.
Makes it, and Jimmy comes out there to somehow intervene in all this, and the kid Darian sneaks in the car, which that pissed me off so much. I'm like, we had to get the kid involved, didn't we?
Well, of course, yeah. I wish it was the wife or Halle Berry.
I would have liked it if they rather kept Halle Berry alive. And then she died, like if she would have had to die in this part.
Jim hates child actors. Have you noticed that trend in this?
Oh, they're just bad. They take away from the movie.
The movie. So she puts this gun in the squirrel, hands the squirrel to Joe, and Joe's like does a bit. It does like another bit like from earlier, when he was joking, like doing your wife fat jokes. Like this is sort of same thing.
Do the impersonation, Tim. I want to hear your impersonation.
He's like, oh, look at this guy. This guy's got a fat suit. Like something like that. And everybody laughs, and then bang. Nobody wonders, like, why is there a child in the woods, really? And then there's like a huge chase scene. There's a car chase. They drive their cars down a hill. It lands in some guy's pool. Do you guys remember this part?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And the guy's like, or Joe's like, I'm going to shoot this kid, or give me a car, I'm going to shoot this kid. And the guy's like, okay. Just gives him the car. Yeah, other stuff happens. They steal the car. What else happens? This is where I stopped taking as many notes.
They steal the car. They get to the stadium. But while there's
a good
to the stadium because they get security outfits, right?
I don't know how they do a costume change, but they did.
Yeah, and they have like shotguns with them, not just like pistols.
Oh yeah. And there's some creepy stuff that the guy does with the kid. Like the creepy European-ish guy has the kid at this point, and he calls Joe and he's like, "You better back off, or I'm going to show your daughter how hot a date I am."
No way, he says that?
I didn't like that.
That was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Wow, I missed that.
Well, he made some comments too, like he was going to sell her into like trafficking or something like that.
Jeez,
fucked up.
It got dark. That's why I don't like the kid in there.
Yeah, it got too messy. So they're sneaking into the stadium with trench coats, and they run by the lineman from earlier. And Jimmy's like, "How'd you like to get kicked off the fucking planet?" You know, like a good zinger again. Points a shotgun at the lineman's face.
Bold move.
Super bold move.
Also,
They go up to
ex-players that are kicked out of the league just have free range of the stadium like he did.
Well, he like knew the security guy, so it was like, "Oh, it's fine." Yeah, kind of weird.
Nick was going to Falcons games like this.
I'm sure if he wanted to, he could have.
Dude, we're like 10 years before 9/11.
True.
That's another good point. Essentially, there's a big fight in the owner's box. What happens? The briefcase blows up and then there's a man on fire somehow
And there's like the guy is up by the stadium lights.
He
threw a
an
shotgun shell
into the fire, which a shredder shell, which those things that was exaggerated a lot, but that was cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and the guy catches on fire, and Joe shoots him with a shotgun, which is cool thing of shooting a man on fire with a shotgun. Pretty sick.
Yeah.
They fight in the crow's nests of the stadium, like the walk.
Because they're going to kill the senator. That's what.
Right. The guy's going to snipe the senator.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like the best part of when Jimmy throws the football
on a horse.
On a horse, because he mentioned earlier he likes horses.
Yes, and the team's name is the Stallions.
Yeah. Throws a football on a dime and hits the senator in the face right as the shot is shot, the sniper.
He intercepted the bullet as well.
Right, that was confusing. So the football stops the bullet?
I don't know, because the senator's face got messed up.
No, he hit the senator and his face moved and the shot went through and didn't hit him.
Oh, I thought
the ball exploded, I swore.
Yeah, I thought the football
he threw it
stopped the bullet.
Because he threw it so fast.
It was just stupid. It was so dumb.
It was giving Save It Private Ryan when me and John thought that they shot the bullet and at the tank and it blew up. Remember that?
Yes.
It's the exact same thing. It's like, how is this football causing this outcome?
Senator save. Milo, the European guy, gets killed, and then Bruce Willis does a dance on top of like the lights.
Yeah, he does a jig.
The dance is so silly.
He says earlier, "I'll do a jig if we win this fucking job."
And
then he does
jig. Wild.
Yeah, everyone's like, "What the fuck is he doing?" But essentially, like, the good guys win at the end, right?
And then the other bomb somehow ends up.
Yeah, Marcone grabbed the wrong briefcase, so he didn't grab the $6 million. He grabbed the bomb.
And so he blows up in his pool area with his Doberman pinchers.
Right, and those Doberman pinchers don't even like water, so imagine the bomb, too.
No, guys, this is my final take. Save it.
And then they get the cash. The two guys get the cash.
They get the $6 million. What did they do with the $6 million again? Didn't they give it to like
Darian? I don't know.
I forget. No, I thought they put it to like a good cause. Or they just pocket that shit.
Yeah, I can't recall.
Yep. But that sort of ends it. Like they end it back at the house, and it's sort of like happily ever after. The wife says, "I'll buy a dog."
And then the two guys seem like they're going to be PIs together.
Yeah, they're like,
They set this up for sequels for sure. Which I'm actually surprised it didn't happen.
Yeah, I am too. I just figured there was one, and I wasn't aware of it, but I guess there might not be. And then they have a nice little back and forth in their last little lines, and there's, of course, one more zinger. And Joe is like, "Always be prepared." That's my motto, because he's a good Boy Scout.
Yep. I remember that part.
And then credits fucking roll. Bad fucking ass. So that was the entire movie, down to the tiniest details.
Yeah, really. Was this a review or was this a summary? I don't know where we reviewed it.
That's what we've been doing the whole time. What are you talking about? Well, how about you start us off with your thoughts on the film?
Okay, so my thoughts on it. Wonderful movie for what it was. It knew it was a 90s popcorn flick. with Bruce Willis. It did not try to be anything else. Tony Scott knew exactly what he was going for. I was reading up a little bit of the history. I was surprised they released this around Christmas time. And that was one of the reasons they think it actually performed a bit poorly at the box office. I think it only grossed, I just had that up. I think it only grossed like 151 million or something like that. Oh.
That's not bad. What was the budget?
Shit, where the fuck was that?
This guy pulling up facts.
40,
and
okay,
even...
gross 114, budget was 43 million. So it wasn't a failure.
That's pretty good.
For a Tony Scott like major like holiday release, they were probably expecting more. But
yeah,
surprised there wasn't sequels on this. I enjoyed the buddy duo, Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans. The supporting actors.
What was his name?
Damon Wayans' brother.
I said Waynes.
Okay, I guess it's just factually incorrect. My bad.
You said Waynes.
I'll show you my Waynes. But good buddy duo. Supporting actors were solid. I like Milo, the European guy, was good. They were all kind of very simplistic, two-dimensional characters for the most part. But like the movie was fast enough paced that I didn't get bored with them.
Yeah.
Action scenes I thought were pretty solid. You guys were complaining about the blood squibs with Halle Berry. That was probably the weakest one, but like all the other like violent special effects were solid. This was practical effects. You don't get to see that anymore.
Yeah.
I love this as like a time capsule of like how they did the opening credits, the score and the soundtrack to this. Because some of the stuff was original music to it. So I really do appreciate it. So my original score before the final suitcase or briefcase opening at the owner's house was I was going to give this a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
But because it violently and needlessly had to kill 2 Dobermans at the final scene for no reason at all.
Fucking guy.
1 out of 5 for me.
A 3?
1.
A 1?
A 1?
Because it killed the Dobermans. That was unneeded. But it
You
would have got a 4 out of 5 if there was a different cut without the Doberman deaths.
That is insane.
You gave Cat a Hat a 4.5.
Yeah, that was a good movie. No needless death.
Interesting.
Okay.
Thing 1 and Thing 2 died in that movie. So you think that wasn't needless?
They did not die. They just got put back in the box.
All right, I'll give my thoughts.
No. You're supposed to go last because it was your movie.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I really don't have that much to say. The beginning of the movie was like really fun. I liked the opening sequence. I liked the opening credits. I liked seeing my boy Lynn Swan, the goat. I wish there was more football and less of the actiony stuff, to be honest, because like the shots, I said it once, I'll say it again. The shots in the football field were sick, and then like it became this like conspiracy movie where it felt like I hate when a conspiracy movie does that thing where it's like at every moment they like drop a new twist and it becomes just like so convoluted. It was like fine as an action movie. It was generally fun, I would say. For what it was, I will give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Nice.
Takes on the Doberman deaths. Did you consider that, or those don't?
Literally didn't even notice it. Didn't even give a fuck.
Okay.
My thoughts are, I agree. I sort of like it's very surface level. Like there's not too much under, but it's enjoyable for most of it, and I think some of it's funny too, and then sometimes it's overstated its welcome. Like there are some action shots that aren't necessary, but I really like the beginning, and I like the end as well. The middle, I sort of lose interest, but I agree. 3.5 out of 5 is my score.
Damn.
I saw this as like basically an in between the Die Hard movies. Like it was between Die Hard 2 and 3. So this was like Die Hard 2.5.
Yeah.
If you
disappointing the lack of Halle Berry.
Disappointed.
Yeah, there's more Halle Berry and Flintstones than this.
More Berry, less Dobie killing would have been good.
What do you think you call him the last Boy Scout?
He had the values, he had the principles, and was he right in the end?
Yeah, it's interesting because like his interactions with the cops are very interesting because he's clearly a troublemaker.
He
But
doesn't
then,
trust them.
but then, like at the same time, it seems like he has good morals or something, and it's like
Still
he's
loves
supposed to
his
be like
wife.
this kind
Still
of
loves
guy
his
who like
daughter.
lives in his own. He's like a Sigma. He's a Sigma.
Yeah.
He like lives by his own rules, sort of thing. But I do
Okay,
think that
John.
like they don't actually end up playing the Last Boy Scout theme up enough in order to make that an adequate central part of the film.
I like their version of it though, because if they did it like more straightforward, then you just got like a lame, like I don't know, like a Tom Hanks type character being a cop, like like I gotta be the good guy. They were going for like Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon, like being a loose cannon, doing whatever the hell he wanted, or just John McClane in Die Hard. This was just John McClane in Die Hard.
Well, it's kind of John McClane, but he's edgier than John McClane for sure. Like he's not as respectful as McClane is in the Die Hard movies.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you.
Are you gonna let me have that? There was something I looked up with the making of this film, which it doesn't even matter anymore. Jared doesn't care. Jared doesn't even
No,
want to have a
tell us,
conversation
John. We
about
were
it.
pausing in anticipation.
Apparently, Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans hated each other, like did not get along during the making of this film.
Interesting.
And like they both wanted to do it like their own way. So maybe like Willis wanted to be more like gruff, and Wayans was trying to be more comedic.
You mean Weenus?
Wayans. This is a good episode. Like you guys are gonna look back. This is a good episode. But just right now in the moment, you're not feeling that. But that's okay. I blame the film, not the orator.
And who chooses the film?
Once again, you've put emphasis weirdly on a word.
Fuck off. All right.
Well, folks, thank you for joining us this week for another installment of Fishy Film Fridays. Our film for our next installment will be the film, I believe it's 2014, Force Majeure, which is available on Hulu if you'd like to watch along with us.
It's called Force Majeure.
Thanks for joining us. There were no fish in the last film that we watched, which was, once again, for those of you who weren't paying attention, The Last Boy Scout.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
For a while. Thank you. Oh, happy Columbus Day, everybody.
Columbus was a Jew.